Hello, Mr. President. Hello, President Bush. How are things going in the Oval Office? Terrible. You left me with such a bad economy. How am I supposed to lead the country through the mess you left me? If you cannot handle the job, you should not have run for it. You left me with tax rates that were too low on the rich people. How could you be so stupid to cut taxes for the rich? Actually, I cut taxes for every taxpayer, not just the rich. I felt it was unfair for the government to take more than 1/3 of someone's income. How is that unfair? Tax them more. Hope and change. Why would you cut anyone's taxes when the economy was so good? Do you remember when the dot-com bubble burst at the beginning of 2001? It led to a recession in 2001 that lasted through 2002. I remember you were handed a great economy and screwed it up by giving rich people tax cuts. I don't remember there being a dot-com bubble or a recession in 2001. That is because when I cut taxes for everyone, the rich people had more money to invest in the businesses and stock portfolios. This allowed businesses to produce more of their product. Since lower-income and middle-class Americans were also given a tax cut, they had more money to spend on the products the businesses were producing. This helped make sure the unemployment rate never reached 7% and the average economic growth rate was 3%. It also made sure that the recession ended quickly and was not very deep. That is probably why you do not remember it. You are stupid. Only government spending can create economic growth. You need to spread the wealth around. That is what creates jobs. Hope and change. During the recession of 2001 and 2, the economy lost over 3 million jobs. By the end of my first term, all 3 million jobs were added back to the economy as well as an estimated 1 million jobs on top of that. Tax cuts didn't create jobs. Bush lied. People died. Hope and change. You doubled our national debt because of those tax cuts. During my first term in office, my administration had to deal with an economy headed toward recession and the effects of September 11th of 2001. The cost of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan were roughly $200 billion per year. September 11th had an unmeasurable negative effect on our economy. I also created a prescription drug program for Medicare that became the only government entitlement program to come through under budget. Considering we were fighting the war on terror on two different fronts, liberating 50 million people, dealing with the negative economic impact of 9/11, the Medicare prescription drug program, as well as billions to fight HIV in the third world, and being the first president to fund stem cell research, I would say the fact that my average annual deficit was $300 billion was very low. Who are you to lecture me about overspending? You created a massive financial crisis with your policies. You end up having to spend $700 billion to bail out the banks. In 2003, I warned Congress that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac were leading us down a path toward financial problems. Democrats like Chris Dodd and Barney Frank told me that I was trying to keep poor people from getting homes. They said there was nothing wrong with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. I warned Congress every year for 5 years about the risks of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Considering you, Mr. President, received more campaign money from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac than any other member of Congress except for Chris Dodd and Barney Frank, it makes sense that you would attempt to blame me and take the focus off of you and your party's opposition to my calls to regulate the financial system. That makes me think, who are you to lecture me about overspending? You have added more debt in 2 years than I did in my first 7 years. I had to spend $800 billion to save jobs. Government is the only way we can save or create jobs. Government must spread the wealth around. Yes, we can. Hope and change. Wouldn't it have been better to freeze spending levels? Most American families have to stick to a budget and, even during hard times, do not take on too much debt. Wouldn't cutting spending have been a better solution? You are stupid. Only government spending can create jobs. I had to make sure the people at Acorn could keep their jobs advising pimps and hookers on how to establish whoring houses, and ensure that the government paid people not to work with an extension of unemployment benefits. I also had to spend $100 billion per year for the next 10 years to take over the health insurance industry to make things fair. It is not fair that some people do not have health insurance. Everyone should have health insurance. Several million people, possibly 10 to 15 million people, decide to not buy health coverage even though they can afford it. That doesn't matter. They should have to buy health insurance. They need to buy it. Health insurance is a right. You should have to purchase it, or face a fine taken directly from your tax return by the IRS. This will help pay to cover poor people. Spreading the wealth around is the best way to handle healthcare. Hope and change. Wouldn't a better way to control healthcare costs have been to involve free market forces? You would not have to spend any money, and it would still cut costs. Why did you not consider tort reform to cut down on junk lawsuits? That would cut insurance premiums for doctors' malpractice insurance and keep doctors from performing many unnecessary tests which insurance would have to pay for. That would put trial lawyers out of business. Those are the jobs I created or saved with my health insurance law. Why did you not consider eliminating mandates on health insurance? Wouldn't it be better to allow insurance companies to provide specialized insurance plans to their customers? For example, a healthy 25-year-old man should not have to be required to pay to be covered for things like abortions. Shouldn't that same 25-year-old man be able to purchase health insurance that is suited for him, such as emergency room visits and annual physicals? No. He needs to pay to be covered for abortions so that poor women can afford to have abortions, especially partial birth abortions. Hope and change. Did you consider allowing people to purchase their insurance across state lines? Shouldn't Americans be able to buy their insurance from any insurance company anywhere in America? Wouldn't that force insurance companies who charge high insurance rates to compete with insurance companies in other states that could possibly be charging lower prices? Isn't that a better idea for lowering insurance costs? No. Regulating the insurance companies as much as possible is the only way to make insurance costs lower. We must make the insurance companies fear the government if they increase prices. Hope and change. So you decided to quadruple the national debt in order to get the government involved in health insurance, put us on the path toward a single-payer health system which is shown to be a failure in other countries, and make it look like you were stimulating the economy. I am going over here now to stick my fingers in my ears and say la 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 so I do not have to listen to your logical crazy talk anymore. La 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 hope and change. La 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 yes we can. Hope and change. Yes we can. La 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 la.